I'm from a small town in the US and I moved to France well over 2 years ago to try and consume as much champagne and baguettes as possible. The biggest differences that I've experienced are around the healthcare, education, and work life are just far superior in France. I think that the overall quality of life is better here. It's much easier to live within your means because there's a lot more control on the housing here, and it's also really hard to go into debt.
And that is an American woman named Mackenzie. She said she moved to France 2 years ago and has been posting videos on TikTok pointing out the differences between France and the United States. And her videos have gone viral, in part because some of the crucial cost drivers in the United States are education and healthcare. But in France, those are heavily subsidized by the government, so everybody can afford an education. Everybody can get health care. In France, they have universal health care. Everybody is covered, whether you're a French citizen, whether you're a visitor, whether you're a foreigner. And the baseline coverage, of which you don't really pay anything, is actually pretty good. But if you want additional coverage, suppose you want caviar delivered to your hotel room, well, you can buy private insurance on top of the regular coverage you get from the government, private insurance that will cover those extra things if you want them. And as far as education is concerned, in France, 21% of the entire French budget goes towards education. France is one of the highest literacy rates in the world at 99%. America, not so literate. And oh, by the way, the percentage of the U.S. federal budget that goes to education is less than half of 1 percentage point. And then you think, well, wait a second, U.S. education is funded by state and local communities. Okay, well, you look at state and local budgets, and about 4% of those state and local budgets go to education. And again, compare that to the 21% in France, and you can understand why education is better, why healthcare is more accessible. And oh, by the way, when it comes to a work-life balance, they take a lot more vacation in France. They work to live. In the United States, we live to work. Now, as Mackenzie points out, not everything in France is better than the United States.
Screens on windows and doors not a thing here. They just let bugs fly in willy-nilly. Something I also have yet to find a decent hot sauce. You can maybe find one at the grocery store and it's okay, which could also be why there's not very good Tex-Mex or Mexican restaurants here.
Wait a second, they don't have good Tex-Mex in France? You can't find good Mexican food? Mon Dieu, my God! All right, I suppose we could have seen that one coming. And yes, the bugs flying into the homes because they don't have screens on the windows and doors. Yes, that's kind of gross. And anybody who has traveled to France can tell you that it does take some getting used to, the idea that everything is fresh, the eggs, the milk, therefore it doesn't get refrigerated. And of course, street signs. For those of us who need glasses to read certain things, yeah, having to look at very tiny street signs can be near impossible. If you don't know your way around France, it can be very frustrating and difficult. But having said all of that, again, when it comes to food, simple food experiences in France, as Mackenzie points out, are much better.
Could probably make a whole series on the food differences between France and the US. I think that just the simple things of food are much better here. A small sandwich, a €3 sandwich from the bakery is so much better than what I could find at a restaurant in the US.
Yes, a simple sandwich from a French bakery is going to be tastier and less expensive than a fast food sandwich here in the United States. Mackenzie, fast food hamburgers? Really? Okay, I grant you that if you were a foodie, maybe the fresh fruits and vegetables and cheeses and breads in France and the way they prepare things, maybe that does make a difference. Maybe it is tastier, maybe it is healthier, but some of us actually love certain things about fast food in the United States. But the point of all of this, the reason we're doing this video about Mackenzie is to say kudos to Mackenzie and to others who are immersing themselves in different cultures in the United States, in different languages, in different foods, in different workplaces, in different politics, because there's so much that the United States can learn from what is working around the world that may not necessarily be working here in the United States. A better healthcare system where everybody is covered, and yes, everybody gets covered regardless of whether you have insurance, and then if you want to buy supplementals, you can do it, like they do in France. And a better educational system where we actually spend more money making sure our citizenry is informed. And yes, a better work-life balance. All of that would make us happier in the United States. So take the good, experience what's happening around the world, take the good, leave the bad overseas, but let's bring the good stuff back to the United States. It will make a difference for all of us. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us. Tell me what you think in the comment section.